Hi guys, welcome to this video series called The Undivided Mind. As you know, I strongly hold this belief that our language affects our worldview, and based on that, we decide to take our actions. In this video series called The Undivided Mind, I want to show you how our mind splits the world from one to many and how it misperceives what is happening around it. So, the misperception that I want to clear today is that Gautam Buddha was an extraordinary person. I actually want to tell you that Gautam Buddha, upon enlightenment, was the most ordinary person. Now, why would I say something like that? We're taught that when we grow up, we need to become something. As children, all of society, our parents and our teachers are trying to plant the seeds of ambition in us. And for them, the hallmark of someone who has made it is someone who has achieved extraordinary feats. Now, there's nothing wrong with it achieving extraordinary feats. Absolutely not. But the question is, who do we act as when we pursue this dream that we want to achieve? When we want to be super rich or super athletic or super knowledgeable, there's nothing wrong in becoming these things or moving towards becoming these things. But the question is, who are we in pursuit of these things? And more often than not, the energy to become whatever we want to become comes from a feeling of feeling very incomplete. And how can you really become something that you're not, right? If you see a stone, you can sculpt it and make a sculpture out of it, but the reason you can sculpt a stone is that the blueprint for what you wanted to make in that is within the stone itself. Nothing is added to the stone when you are making a sculpture. Things are taken away from that. But this is not how we are raised. We are raised on the belief that becoming better versions of ourselves is having something added to us which we don't. So, the root assumption in all our actions is that we feel incomplete, and this feeling of incompleteness ceases when we get the object of our desire. But whoever's lived life long enough, even up to the age of 15 or 20 or 30, knows that there is no such thing that once we get in life, we stop desiring anything else. And I think Buddhahood as such is understanding that acting from a center of feeling incomplete just magnifies this incompleteness. As I said before, there's nothing wrong with acting in a way that in 2 or 3 years you'll be far more skilled or you'll be far more accomplished than you are, but acting with the belief that you are incomplete right now and the attainment of what you want will make you complete is a very foolish thought, because the seeds of today become the trees of tomorrow. So if the seed planted today in us is that we are incomplete, we don't feel good enough, then acting upon that belief will just reinforce it, and if time passes that belief becomes stronger. So very often we reach a stage where we do get what we want, but we feel scammed in the sense that we don't feel whole and we don't feel complete, and we feel betrayed because our assumption when we started our task was that doing this activity and getting this thing will make us feel whole and complete. And when we reach that stage, we don't feel like that. And the reason we don't feel like that is we've acted from a center of feeling incomplete, which is why getting what we want does not get us what we want. In that sense, Buddha is a very ordinary state of mind where you understand that in order to remain complete, you have to act with the assumption that you already are complete. You can't believe that there's something lacking in you, and when you get what you want, that completes who you are. And this is an understanding that is so easy to comprehend. If you act in fear, you will multiply fear. If you act in greed, you will multiply greed. Similarly, if you act in goodness, you will multiply goodness. Now, this on the surface of it seems to be such a simple thing to understand, and yet it's not understood. Let's address indulgences, for example, smoking or drinking. We might use these substances to feel better from the stress of daily life. But the act of indulging in these substances itself destroys our health. So, even if these substances give us temporary pleasure, they're already destroying our being as it is, and over time it just gets worse. So, what is extraordinary and what we worship as individual success is more often than not a sickness, because the person who acted in a manner that made him feel incomplete just amplified his incompleteness. So when he reaches the mountaintop, he'll realize that he has been chasing a shadow. So, what we call as extraordinary people, more often than not, have had a very hollow inner life, and that should not be considered normal. Buddhahood, on the other hand, should be considered normal because your actions don't come from a sense of feeling incomplete. Again, I said the attainment of anything is not the problem. The problem is who you act as while you're in pursuit of what you want. And if you act as someone incomplete in the pursuit of what you want, getting what you want will not get you what you want. I know that this is a lot to digest. You'll have to watch this video 2 or 3 or 4 times to understand clearly what I'm saying. But understand that Buddhahood is not an extraordinary achievement, it's your natural state of being. And the reason it's considered extraordinary is from childhood, we've received propaganda of being incomplete and needing to have these achievements and accolades to our name in order to feel complete. And the reason why we do believe this as true is we see that people who have accomplished extraordinary feats generally get more respect, more love, more money, whatever be the case. But we are unacquainted with their inner lives. Some of them may feel whole and complete, some of them may not feel whole and complete, right? So let's understand that Buddhahood is not an extraordinary achievement. It's the natural state of how a human being is. And the reason it's not natural for most of us is the propaganda we were fed as children of feeling incomplete and being incomplete until we achieve what we want. Hope this video gives you some clarity, and if not, do watch this 3, 4, 5, 6 times or as many times as it's necessary, because this is just plain common sense.